What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Film Family. Today we're talking about Aladdin, and I am very excited. What are you guys' thoughts on it? We didn't see it together, so I haven't actually told you what I thought.
Yeah, we've been very careful about that.
Quiet opinions we haven't told each other yet. I didn't really like the movie. I feel like this is the first thing on the channel I'm about to criticize.
Ooh.
So, I just think this movie didn't really do it for me. None of the Disney live-action remakes have really, kind of captured my attention because I grew up on pretty much all these classic Disney movies, and so many of them have been remade, but none of the remakes feel as good as the originals, which is, I guess, to be expected. But they also, for me, don't switch up the formula and ideas of the originals. And somehow they've actually managed to get more appealing to children, which for me is a little annoying. I like how some of the older animated movies have adult themes and kind of adult scenes, like in Beauty and the Beast, and how Gaston dies, and even the original Aladdin. This movie kind of takes.
I think it's better to say mature than adult.
Yeah, sure, mature things. And this movie just wasn't really that great for me. I haven't seen a lot of the Disney live-action remakes. I just kind of would rather not see them. Yeah. But from the ones I have seen, they all just kind of feel like generic remakes of movies that have been better done in the past.
Did you see Jungle Book?
Yeah, which got a lot of critical acclaim, and I just thought it was a fine movie. There's nothing about it besides the really good CGI. They really blew me away. I'm not extremely excited for the Lion King remake. And it's just that these movies haven't really, for me, offered anything fresh or exciting that the animated originals haven't done, much better. So yeah,
I haven't seen The Jungle Book, so this is my first Disney live action remake.
Really? Okay.
And when I was sitting there watching Will Smith singing on the boat in the beginning, I was like, "Oh my goodness, Disney! They messed it up." Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be really bad. But I don't know when, halfway through the movie, at some point in the movie, something switched. And I think it was when they started showing Jafar. Because I really liked the way they shot the bad guy. I think that was done better than Aladdin and Jasmine. Mm-hmm. I think it was too soap opera TV-like. And I think it's hard to do a musical. I don't really like musicals that much. Like plays, yes. But watching a musical movie is not my type of movie. So I think it's very hard to do that, as well as with the advanced scenes that are in, let's say, the original You Have a Friend in Me. Mm-hmm. How everything is changing, the sets are changing. I really liked that with Will Smith, and I thought that was a really good scene. I think it transferred over really nicely.
For me, it's just it feels kind of like these movies are a little lifeless when compared to the animated originals. It just feels like they don't have as much passion into them. And their story, they don't really offer anything that's that different. Because I think if you're making a direct remake of the movie, very few filmmakers actually go for that approach where you're making a shot-for-shot remake. It usually doesn't turn out well. Just look at the Psycho remake. But if you think about it, these movies are a lot of the time shot-for-shot remakes or something, but they'll reorganize the scenes and things like that are cool. But for me, they've just taken a lot of the charismatic and likable characters too and made them less good than they were before. Like, for instance, Jafar in this movie, I wasn't really, I didn't think it was a bad performance. It was just he didn't really have much to work with because for me, the script in this movie felt like a pretty by-the-numbers movie script with almost no creativity in it. It just kind of took a lot of the, general things we know about movies and just kind of went with them. And Jafar getting thrown in the lamp, for me, it was a little kind of, most of the Disney villains die, and it was a little weird. They try to, I don't know, maybe it was more appealing to kids if he didn't die. For me, that was a little, I don't know how I felt about that. Plus, the guy who played
Didn't
Aladdin,
he get thrown in the lamp, though, in the cartoon? At the end of that?
Well, this is gonna look pretty bad because I haven't seen the original Aladdin in a long time.
No, I was gonna say because I
died.
haven't either, but we talked about it. I thought it was gonna be a shot-for-shot remake. It's not.
No, it's not.
They changed it up a lot. They left out a lot of key scenes.
Well, yeah, this movie is not. I wasn't saying all Disney remakes. I probably should have phrased that a little better. But what I do mean is that in terms of the idea of the script and the acting and stuff, it just feels a lot like a bland retelling of a story that's been better told before. And for me, this movie was a little frustrating because Guy Ritchie directed it, and Guy Ritchie directs very energetic movies and very unique movies. Like you can usually tell when Guy Ritchie directs a movie. And for me, this movie just didn't really feel like it fit his style. He's made both Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. He's made Snatch and a couple other crime movies, and for me, this movie I think it could have used some of his talents, but it just decided to go the safe route and just put more musical numbers and stuff. And I wasn't really feeling it.
Do you?
So what's your ranking though?
Yeah.
Out of 10.
I'd probably give this movie a 5.
Wow. Do you guys think that? I'll give my ranking too, but do you think that it's because you're comparing it to the classic? Like, I mean, if this is your first introduction to Aladdin, do you think you would have liked it better?
Well,
I liked it actually. I'm actually on the side. Like I really like this
So
movie.
what are you gonna give it? Because I'm on a little on your
It's
side.
between a 7 and an 8 for me because I have a problem with
gonna say 7,
musicals, but I think a lot of them, and I think the musical segments got better as the movie progressed. My favorite one was Will Smith's version of "You Got a Friend in Me," or no, wrong movie.
you never had a friend like me.
Yeah.
That one I really liked that performance, and I thought that was really cool how he went from big to small, and the sets were kind of changing. But I really liked the Jasmine's performance right at the end. It was kind of weird how they made the guys disappear, but that was exactly what I was thinking as to how a musical should be in a movie. Because it doesn't make sense to start singing in the middle of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's interesting because there are certain changes that they did. The Speechless, that's the name of the song that they added.
Yeah.
I wasn't that big of a fan of it for the movie. I actually liked the song a lot. It didn't feel in place with the rest of, even though it had the same composer and all that stuff. For me, and it's a very powerful song, and I heard it again outside of the context of the movie, and I really enjoy it. But I don't know, it seemed like we need a power ballad, and let's have her sing because she can sing. And I don't know. I'm going to be a little easier on the movie, but that's because I had such low expectations.
I had really low expectations. The movie exceeded them. Like for me, and I don't want to like disrespect anybody involved with the movie. I'll say this about the one positive thing is that the movie had super good production design, and it felt pretty vibrant. It was a pretty good looking movie, and the CGI for the most part was pretty good, except the animals. I don't know why they can't get those down right when Jungle Book had such good effects. But I don't know. It just felt kind of bland to me, and just felt like it didn't have any life injected into it. And the only person who was really seemed like they enjoyed making this movie was kind of Will Smith, and Will Smith definitely did a better job than I thought he would do. I think Will Smith's a really good actor. I just didn't see him. Like I saw the trailer for this movie, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look very good. But he wasn't as good as Robin Williams, but he did do a really good job for. Especially from the fact that I didn't expect him to do that well, and I thought he did a good job. Yeah, he's very.
I agree. I really liked him. I think he was a really good genie for the new generation.
Yeah, and I think Naomi Scott, who played Jasmine, did a really good job, and she actually, I think she's one of like the few people who actually probably surpassed the original, because I actually liked her probably more than the original Jasmine from the Aladdin.
The voice acting of a cartoon.
What?
I'm just asking. Like that's what you're saying? The original Aladdin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I just thought her character had a little more to it, and it was a little she probably had some things that I think are a little more nuanced and a little better written than the original. But besides that, there's not much I can say about this movie. It just felt, like I said, kind of like a bland remake, and a lot of these Disney movies do for me.
It's long. It is very long.
It's 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah,
Not that
it
long.
felt long though.
It did feel long. I mean, the movie. I mean, it's just the one thing I could say that was kind of creative was the idea of starting on the boat. And I'm gonna tell you the story of what happened.
And how it tied back, I really like that.
Yeah, that's cool. But
I did really like the scene where he wished him free, and they had that moment, and then Disney did their little musical score, and I really like Disney's music. It's a very childhood kind of feeling.
Yeah, like magical.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the things that really bothered me about this movie, I would give it a 7. One of the things that really bothered me about the movie was the Whole New World.
Yeah.
That song to me is like sacred, and I can't stand when entertainers do that, when they change the word, not the words, but they change the melody. And they didn't really do it, but they changed the rhythm and they changed the orchestration. I know I'm nerding out, but it's like there's nothing wrong with that song. That song won an Oscar, so just do it like that.
Yeah.
Like literally do it like, and they were trying to be clever, and when it started, I'm like, oh, please don't make it be that song. And I knew it was that song because I knew that.
But why didn't they use a lot of the songs from the original?
Well, I was gonna say that with these Disney live action remakes, it seems like a lot of what they're trying to do is like just take their best era, which is known as like Disney's golden era, which is like from the 80s to like the 90s. They just had hit after hit in animated movies. Now they have Pixar now who's making all these great movies, but even before Pixar. But like it seems like they have like less confidence in themselves or something to make good new original movies. and they're just kind of falling back on like the same songs and the same things, and then they'll add a new song or a couple of new things just to like tell the audience that this movie's different. But what they're really doing is just kind of pulling a trick because it's not a different movie. The presentation's slightly different, but it's a lot of the same, ideas and stuff. It's just
But a lot of the songs
different.
in this one weren't in the original.
No,
they
I know.
had
I
like
said
two.
they add
three.
new songs.
Yeah, there's
it's
two
just
new.
that doesn't change the movie in a dramatic way. And 2 new songs at the end of the day, they kept a lot of the important and fundamental songs of Aladdin.
All right, you want to wrap it up because
Yeah.
I don't want to say too many more negative. I enjoyed
liked
it.
it. I had a
I
good
enjoyed
time
it.
singing.
Yeah, like I said, like this isn't an overtly bad movie or anything. It just felt like a little like lifeless to me, and that's how I feel with a lot of these Disney live action remakes.
So you would definitely recommend someone watch the cartoon.
Well, I was talking to somebody after I saw this movie, and I was like, if when I have kids and I show them the movies I grew up on, I'm not going to show them this Aladdin because why would I when I know there's a better one? Like I'm going to show them the animated one that's just a much better movie and came out during Disney's golden era. So yeah, overall, I just gotta say, it's not a bad movie or anything. I kind of wish it was better.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the original better, but I would recommend it to someone
You would to see it. Yeah.
to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then let me say one last thing is I think something that sort of ruined some of the Disney movies, really all non-Marvel Disney movies, actually except Pixar, because Pixar's still incredible, but really the Star Wars and the Disney movies, I think they've seen that Marvel puts a lot of jokes in their movies, which for me, generally Marvel jokes are, pretty funny. But I think they're trying to induct that humor, like that quick-witted and kind of like sometimes subversive humor that makes Marvel popular. They'll put that in a Star Wars movie or a Disney movie, and for me, it doesn't work. And there was a lot of that in this movie that I was just not laughing. And same thing with some of the Star Wars movies. So hopefully, they can kind of grow out of that and, let the movies have their own type of humor and let each movies have their own identity instead of trying to copy Marvel's success.
Very in-depth. One last thing to say, I'm sticking with what I said. I enjoyed the movie.
I enjoyed it too. I gave it a 7. What'd you give it?
Between a 7 and an 8.
And you gave it a 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah. You don't want to change. That's
good.
That was a hard 5.
I hope it has good production and costume design. But
Fantastic.
Yeah. Acting was decent. Good for you.
Naomi Scott was really good.
You didn't
I
like
thought Will Smith was great.
Aladdin?
Yeah, and I don't want to criticize that guy. He seems like a cool young actor, and I just thought that he wasn't as charismatic as the animated Aladdin. And for the most part, I just thought. But again, like I said, he didn't have a lot to work with. Some of the script was for me pretty bland and generic. There was nothing really entertaining or very unique about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, guys. We are out of here, and I guess we're talking about something else
Like
next.
and subscribe.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
I was
Leave a
testing you.
comment.
Yeah. Come on. Man.
I messed
You're
up.
supposed to know that.
Yeah.
But down below,